3907 Lagrange Street. We are in the middle of light industrial, heavy commercial, and you are on a pretty busy street. You have a building next door that's vacant. Signature and Associates has got it up for sale, but ultimately, and then you've got some kind of an apartment next door, but ultimately you have a pretty exclusive area as long as the surroundings don't bother you. You're definitely not going to have a lot of pedestrians, right? Looks like, a basic flip. They kind of didn't finish up in this area. The siding was never really wrapped around, but you get an idea of what the underside looks like. That's just an asphalt fake shingle that looks like brick. Really cute, probably around 1970, with the wonder product of asphalt and shingles. But if you come backwards here, you've got a brand new roof on the garage, or on the house, and then you have a similar roof on the garage. And the garage is about as nice as it's going to get. You would probably vinyl side this about the time that the sprayed on paint peels. And then I wanted to show this on the inside, kind of an interesting product. I presume this is a flame retardant, and I'd predict somebody owned a business and the equipment and just threw it in their garage for giggles, because I've never seen this in a garage in Toledo. Some of it's flaking off over the years. Just kind of random. I would predict that you will have a home inspector absolutely freak out. It looks a little bit like bird seed, but I'm pretty confident it's intended to be applied. And I think it's there to resist flame. Mind you, I don't know why the structural members, that kind of cross-tie the roof aren't on there. But there you go. Exterior side of 3907 Lagrange. Now, this was definitely, I'm going to call it a flip. I think somebody got it at sheriff's auction or something. Really did a good job. They stopped short of the ceiling. I would soffit this in vinyl, be done with it just like the siding. And then we need to wrap these columns in metal, get them done. These walls, the jury's out. We need to seal it. You can see your classic peeling paint. It won't pass Section 8 without it. You need this to be a Section 8 house. You're gonna need a railing there. So there is some work to do. However, come on in here, you can see the doorway. Doorway's original. All that needs to be wrapped. You're talking about thousands, nothing crazy, not tens of thousands. Now, in the house, you kind of have your original condition, and they have put as much lipstick on the pig as you're going to get. And really, I don't have a problem with it. New windows, right? New windows. These windows are lower quality. I'm calling these your circa 1970, 1980 window quality, very thin. This is a modern window. This left-hand side the seal has broken, so it's getting moisture and then it's condensing minerals on the inside. Not unsafe, and it should pass Section 8. However, Section 8 may require you to replace a window pane. That's a $250 problem because it's insulated glass. This is that back porch we were looking at from the outside. We need to do the siding there. Same routine, see all your peeling paint. That peeling paint will not qualify Section 8. You have the smallest kitchen one could have. And again, I don't have any problem with the kitchen. You're gonna end up with your stove here. You have electric, you have gas. I do appreciate that. And then this looks like the corner for your refrigerator. The refrigerator will probably have to come down this way because it's gonna stick out on that wall. Walk us from dining room to living room, right? This is pretty much as bare bones as you can get, and I truly do love it. That is your low income ghetto version of a hallway light, right? A little clicky sconce. It meets Section 8. Again, you've got your clicky sconce, meets Section 8, does have a light switch on the clicky sconce. You do have 2 outlets in the bedroom, so you meet standard, and you have a closet. I will admit, I didn't open the closet, but you've got some pretty shoddy plywood there, and these are towel bars from the dollar store. They put in 3 towel bars. So I think this is not, you can see right here there's a bracket. It's not going to be able to hold any weight. That needs to be upgraded. Somebody definitely kind of went as low as they could in quality. But again, I don't see anything. That's a vent fan. Okay, second light switch. I don't see anything that really is a cause for alarm. you know, as long as that is tight. And then Section 8 is obsessed with shoving toilets. They're actually pretty tight. We need a stopper in that tub to meet my company's standard, but really it's not bad. Look at that. See the fan blades up top? So again, that's just a, you know, lower quality version of getting the job done, but it works. Coming into the rear bedroom, same routine. You have outlet, so 2 outlets in the bedroom, and then you come into this crazy closet here. And then this is a more appropriate design. You know, perfectly works. It works as structural support. It works for hooking clothes onto. And that will conclude the upstairs. Smoke detectors, I anticipate all of them are not battery. Anticipate some expense putting those back together. But again, you're talking $100. You're not talking $1,000. So this 3907 Lagrange, and I'll take us down the basement. You're looking at the backside of vinyl siding. So they wanted to get rid of the window. They didn't completely get rid of the window because they didn't put the last piece of siding at the top. You may get away with painting this, but I think what would be wiser is to just remove the frame, wall the entire thing, and then paint it to match. That'll meet Section 8 standards. You also can ensure nobody breaks the window later. The handrail is not graspable. You're not allowed to use like a 2x4, or in this case, a 2x6, like a deck board. You can't grab onto it if you fall down the stairs. And you can see, yeah, I'm 6 feet tall, and those are pretty steep stairs. They need to be re-sloped. I'm gonna look from the ground. You might be able to see what I felt when I walked down the first time before I videoed. Those stairs, the noses are falling down. So nothing earth-shattering, right? Truly will meet standard. We just want to pull the stairs and raise them up a little bit and put them back down. Need a handrail, you know, kind of interesting original here. This is CPVC. So my prior video, in fact, you could see the CPVC hanging. Yeah, you need to get that out of there. Just turn it into PEX. Again, that is a couple $100, maybe $1,000 conversation. You know, your shutoff valves are in CPVC. If this house gets cold, you will shatter all your water lines. You will flood your basement, potentially ruin your reasonably old hot water heater, which is from 2003 manufacturing date. So the water heater, as long as it works, run it until it explodes. But here you can see PEX. They did some PEX splicing, and then they just decided to not replace the whole thing. So I don't know why they did that. I would recommend we do the job once and be done with it. This is just a sump pump coming in. The electric panel, love it. Standard quality, Siemens brand name, no complaint there. Moving us into the other half of the basement. This is just the furnace. My comments real fast. So this is called a Michigan basement. They like stacked walls in, and then they dug the original foundation out. And that'll meet standard just fine. I think you're gonna board that over. I don't know why those are boarded, but this one's not boarded. And I think if you painted it all to match, Section 8 would let you get away with it. Hopefully we don't have to mess with that. Here's more of those funky monkey CPVC lines. They gots to go. But I do like the basement from the standpoint, it is not encouraging anyone to make this into a bedroom. A big no-no in the, that's interesting. It doesn't wanna go on or off. A big no-no in the rental property world. Again, you've got some basement windows. I think I'd get rid of that. You know, you kind of 90% of the way there to just being done with this. But truly a no-frills basic basement, really in fine condition. You may get popped, by the way, for peeling paints. The way that the standard works is any paint applied to a home that is peeling built before 1978 is presumed to be lead-based paint. So they have zero tolerance for peeling paint. It doesn't matter if you can show them the paint can and say, I just applied that. You can't have like this down here that's peeling paint. That's got to be fixed. But I'm gonna give this the $5,000 threshold of getting the interior and some of that siding worked on. Siding's always kind of up in the air. Depends on how much custom sheet metal we have. I didn't walk on that side of the house, and I didn't really stare at the back side. But that is the direction on this property. I think this is a viable investment. Really an interesting pickup. Enjoy. Bye-bye.